Good evening, it is Matt Rogers. It is now the 17th of February 2025. Clues get warm in search for Planet X. This information came out on January 30th of 1983. Something out there beyond the farthest reaches of the known solar system seems to be tugging on Uranus and Neptune. Some gravitational force keeps orbiting the two giant planets, causing the strange orbits. The force suggests of a present faraway unseen object, a large object, that may be a long sort of this object being Planet X. Evidence assembled in recent years has led several groups of astronomers to renew the search for the 10th planet. They are devoting more time to visual observations with a 200-inch telescope at Mount Palomar in California. They're tracking two Pioneer spacecraft, now approaching the orbit of a distant Pluto. To see the variations of their orbits provide clues to the source of the mysterious force. And they are hoping that the satellite-borne telescope launched last week will detect heat signatures from the planet or whatever it is out there. The infrared astronomical satellite was boosted into 560-mile-high polar orbit Tuesday night by the Air Force Base in California. It represents an $80 million venture by the United States. Now, Britain and the Netherlands, in the next 6 or 7 months, the telescope is expected to conduct a wide-range survey of nearly all of the sky, detecting sources not of ordinary light, but indeed in infrared radiation, which is invisible to the human eye and largely absorbed by the atmosphere. Scientists hope that the new telescope will chart thousands of infrared emitting objects and have some that have gone undetected stars, interstellar clouds, asteroids, and with any luck the object that pulls Uranus and Neptune. The last time a serious search of the sky was made, it led to a discovery in 1930 of Pluto, the 9th planet. But the story begins more of a century before that, after the discovery of Uranus in 1781 by an Englishman astronomer, a musician, William Herschel. Until then, the planetary system seems to end with Saturn, as astronomers observed Uranus, noting the rotation in its orbital path. Many speculated that they were witnessing a gravitational pull of an unknown planet. So began the planetary search based on astronomers' predictions, which ended in the 1840s with the discovery of Neptune by English and French German astronomers. But Neptune was not massive enough to account entirely for the orbital behavior of Uranus indeed. Years later, Pluto was detected by Clyde W. Tombaugh, working at Lowell Observatory in Arizona. Several astronomers, however, suspected it might not be Planet X. Subsequent observations proved them right. Pluto was too small to change the orbits of Uranus and Neptune. The combined mass of Pluto, its recently discovered satellite Charon, is only 1/5 that of Earth's moon. Recent calculations by the United States Naval Observatory have confirmed the orbital path exhibited by Uranus and Neptune, which indeed these bunch of astronomers at the observatory says it could explain by a single unobserved planet. And he called a colleague, Dr. Robert Harrington, calculate towards a 10th planet should be 2 to 5 times more the mass of Earth and have a highly elliptical orbit, that it takes some 5 billion miles beyond the reaches of Pluto, hardly next door, but still within the gravitational influence of the Sun. Some astronomers have reached cautiously to the 10th planet predictions. They remember the full long quest for the planet Vulcan inside the orbit of Mercury. Vulcan, it turned out, did not exist. They wonder why such an object of a 10th planet escaped the survey by Mr. Tombaugh, who is sure it is not 2/3 of the sky examined. But according to other astronomers at the Ames Research Center in Mount View, California, other astronomers are so sure of a 10th planet They think there's nothing left but to name it. At a scientific meeting last year, the 10th planet's orbital path tends to prevail. Alternative explanations for the outer planet orbital path were offered. There's something out there. Some scientists state as well, might be unseen black hole or a neutron star passing through the Sun's vicinity. Defenders of the 10th planet suggested material fallen into the gravitational field of the black hole and remains of a very mysterious massive star after its complete gravitational collapse should give off detectable X-rays. They note no X-rays has been detected. A neutron star, a less massive star that has collapsed to a high dense state, should affect the courses of comets. They also state as well, yet no such changes have been observed. More credence was given to the hypothesis that a brown dwarf star accounts for the mysterious force. This is the informal name astronomers gave to the celestial bodies that were not massive enough for their orbital paths. Like a huge planets like Jupiter, they just missed being self-illuminating stars. Most stars are paired, so it's not unreasonable to suggest that the Sun has a dim companion. Therefore, a brown dwarf in the neighbourhood might not reflect enough light to be seen far away. Now, these bunch of astronomers at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in California state its gravitational force, however, should produce energy detectable by the infrared astronomical satellite. Indeed, whatever mysterious force, it is a brown dwarf star or a large planet. These bunch of astronomers explain quite optimistic that the infrared telescope, Find It, and the Pioneer spacecraft could supply the estimate readings of the mass of the object. Of course, no one can be sure. Even the discovery would confine the outermost boundary of the solar system. Okay folks, I'm going to continue this broadcast and speak about Immanuel Velikovsky, a Russian Jewish psychiatrist and would be a scholar, was born June the 10th of 1895 in what is now Belarus. Velikovsky came to the world attention in spring of 1950 when he published a book called Worlds in Collision. Velikovsky had spent many years studying ancient mythology, immersing himself in the stories towards Babylon's cultures, well as the accounts found in the sources, especially in the book of Exodus. He found that all these cultures had handed down stories about a heavenly battle, massive flooding and earthquakes, crop disasters and raining down of matter, including fire from the skies. See, this information is absolutely genuine. The radical changes in the length of the day. He concluded that such similar tales from all separate and distant cultures must reflect on these events. He also offered a scenario. Sometime around 1500 BC, Jupiter injected from within a large comet. The comet passed near the Earth, tilting it on its axis and also briefly stopping its rotation, while its hydrocarbon tail swept across the planet and rained down this matter. The tribes of Israel, who were fleeing Egypt, while also creating a passage through the Red Sea. The comet also settled down in the orbit around the Sun, becoming the planet that we call now Venus. There was more to it, but the summary will do it as its purpose. It becomes more of a cover-up of Macmillan was far more heated. Several scientists, including Harlow, Shapley and Dean of the American astronomers at Harvard, wrote to Macmillan even before the publication, suggested that they would withdraw as a publisher, as also a summary of the upcoming book that had been published in January of 1950 in Harper's Weekly. When the book appeared as scheduled, the criticism of Macmillan was also censored. Many scientists were increased that the Macmillan included Worlds in Collision in their scientific catalogue for the spring of 1950, rather than labelling towards the literature. Scientific wrote letters to Macmillan pointing out that it would be too hard to trust Macmillan's scientific textbooks if its editors through that Velikovsky was a scientist. Some threatened to boycott of Macmillan, as they did not discover the book, although a number of calling for the Macmillan boycott was not large. It was not enough to scare the publisher. They soon decided that it will not violate the terms of the contract with Velikovsky in turning the publishing rights over to Macmillan, which did not have the textbook diversion. And therefore as well, that is what happened. Our library copy of the book, a later printed still in 1950, has also been printed. Just something to think about. That did Emanuel Velikovsky become ridiculed about his book about something happening in our solar system that came from the area of Jupiter and caused a great catastrophe towards our world, the Earth? Think about it. Something is happening. Thank you for watching this short video. Please take care. Please also again subscribe to the channel. From Matt Rogers.